When someone hurts you, it can be easy to respond with anger, frustration, or sadness. But I invite you to consider a different approach, one that focuses on your inner peace, your self-worth, and the power you hold over your emotions. We cannot control what others say or do, but we can control how we respond. When someone hurts you, it's not a reflection of your value, but a reflection of their own inner state. Reacting to them, especially from a place of pain or anger, only allows their negativity to take root in your heart. And when you carry that hurt, you give away your power. In life, there are moments when others may say or do things that hurt us, whether intentionally or unintentionally. It is a natural human reaction to feel pain, anger, or even frustration in response to such situations. However, one of the most empowering realizations we can come to is that while we cannot control the actions or words of others, we can always control how we respond to them. This simple yet profound truth is key to maintaining emotional balance, peace, and well-being. When someone says something hurtful or acts in a way that wounds you, your immediate emotional response might be to react. That reaction could be anger, sadness, or defensiveness. But in those critical moments, it's important to remember that reacting from a place of pain gives away your power. Reacting impulsively, especially when emotions are high, often leads to more pain, not just for the other person, but also for you. The situation escalates, and suddenly you're both trapped in a cycle of negativity. But what if, instead of reacting, you took a moment to pause? Pausing gives you a chance to reflect. It allows you to step back from the immediate emotional charge and evaluate the situation with a calm mind. When you pause, you give yourself time to breathe and consider, how do I want to respond? What will serve me best in this moment? How can I choose peace instead of conflict? This pause between feeling hurt and responding is where your power lies. It's in this space that you reclaim control over your emotional state. Rather than letting someone else dictate how you feel, you become the master of your emotions. You begin to see that your response can be a reflection of the peace and strength within you, not a reflection of the pain someone else is trying to inflict upon you. Choosing not to react doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or pretending that you're not hurt. It's not about suppressing your emotions. On the contrary, it's about acknowledging your emotions, but also recognizing that your feelings don't have to control your actions. It's about giving yourself the freedom to feel what you feel, but then deciding how to act in a way that supports your well-being. For example, if someone criticizes you harshly or unfairly, your instinct may be to fire back with equal harshness. But if you pause and consider the situation, you might realize that reacting with anger doesn't truly serve you. It might feel good in the moment to release that anger, but afterward you may feel drained or regretful. Instead, if you choose to pause and respond calmly or not respond at all, you keep your energy intact. You don't let the negativity from the other person enter your space. In this way, you protect your inner peace. Controlling your response is also a practice of self-respect. When you choose not to react in ways that are harmful to yourself or others, you are honoring yourself. You are saying, I value my peace more than I value being right or getting even. This is a powerful act of self-love. You are showing yourself that your emotional well-being is more important than engaging in conflict or reacting impulsively. Furthermore, when you control your response, you are modeling a new way of interacting with the world. You become an example of how to handle difficult situations with grace. Others may expect you to react with anger or frustration, but when you choose a different path, you show them a new way of being. You demonstrate that it's possible to rise above the situation, to respond with calmness and compassion rather than hurt. This doesn't just change the way you feel, it can also influence those around you. In relationships, whether with friends, family, or colleagues, this ability to control your response is invaluable. It helps to create a space where communication can happen without escalation. It fosters understanding and connection rather than division. Instead of reacting defensively or aggressively, you open the door to more thoughtful conversations where both parties can express themselves without feeling attacked. Over time, this builds stronger, more respectful relationships. Ultimately, controlling your response is about empowerment. It's about realizing that you are in charge of how you feel and how you act, regardless of what anyone else does. When you stop reacting and start responding thoughtfully, you take back control of your life. You are no longer at the mercy of others' words or actions. You choose how to feel. You choose how to live. And that choice is where your true power lies. The next time someone hurts you, take a moment to pause and breathe. Remind yourself that you are in control. You don't have to react. You can choose peace. You can choose calm. And in that choice, you will find freedom. When someone hurts you, whether through their words or actions, it's natural to feel wounded. You might begin to wonder why they said what they did or acted in such a way. Many of us instinctively take it personally, thinking there must be something wrong with us or something we did to provoke that kind of treatment. But here's a crucial truth. When someone hurts you, it's often more about them than it is about you. Their actions and words are reflections of their inner state, not of your worth. People carry their emotions, thoughts, and unresolved issues with them, and these can manifest in their interactions with others. If someone is hurting inside, they may lash out at others to cope with their pain. Their anger, bitterness, or negativity doesn't mean that you did something wrong. It simply means they are struggling within themselves. Understanding this can completely change how you view the situation and, more importantly, how you feel about yourself in the face of someone else's hurtful behavior. Imagine someone who is constantly negative or quick to criticize others. At first glance, it might seem like they are just mean or difficult to be around. But if you look deeper, you'll often find that this person is dealing with their own battles. Maybe they are carrying unresolved anger from past experiences, or maybe they feel insecure and project that insecurity onto others by putting them down. Their harshness is a shield they use to protect themselves from the vulnerability they fear. When we realize that their actions are a reflection of their inner turmoil, we stop taking it personally. This doesn't mean we excuse bad behavior or allow people to mistreat us, but it does help us detach emotionally from the situation. We begin to see that their hurtful actions are not a reflection of who we are. Instead, they are a reflection of their own emotional state, their own struggles, and the unresolved pain they carry. This understanding allows us to approach the situation with more compassion. Instead of reacting with anger or hurt, we can pause and recognize that the person who hurt us is likely dealing with something deeper. Perhaps they're feeling lost, overwhelmed, or insecure, and they haven't found a healthy way to process those emotions. In fact, their hurtful actions might be their unconscious way of crying out for help or attention, though it may not seem that way on the surface. Let's take a simple example. Imagine a coworker who constantly criticizes your work. At first, you might feel offended and think that you're not doing a good job or that they have something against you personally. But if you step back and observe their behavior, you might notice that they tend to criticize everyone, not just you. This coworker may be struggling with their own sense of inadequacy or pressure, and as a result, they project their stress and frustration onto others. Their need to criticize isn't about you, it's about how they feel inside. Understanding this can shift your perspective and help you release the emotional burden you've been carrying. When someone is hurtful, instead of reacting or internalizing their actions, you can remind yourself that their behavior is a reflection of them, not you. You don't have to take on their negativity or let it affect your sense of self-worth. This awareness frees you from the need to defend yourself or react emotionally, because you recognize that the issue lies within them, not with you. Of course, it's important to set boundaries. Compassion doesn't mean accepting poor treatment. It's okay to protect your emotional well-being and distance yourself from toxic situations. But even as you set those boundaries, it helps to remember that their actions are not about you. It allows you to walk away with your dignity and self-respect intact, knowing that their words and actions don't define you. This perspective also empowers you to choose your response more wisely. When you understand that someone's hurtful actions are coming from their own place of pain or confusion, you gain clarity. Instead of reacting impulsively or taking it to heart, you can respond calmly or not respond at all. You can choose to remain centered and at peace, knowing that their behavior doesn't diminish your worth or your inner peace. In the end, realizing that hurt reflects the other person's inner state is liberating. It helps you detach from the emotional weight of their actions and reminds you that you are in control of your own experience. Their words, their anger, their negativity, none of it has to touch your core unless you let it. You have the power to remain grounded in your own sense of self, no matter how others behave. This understanding also fosters empathy. You begin to see that we are all human, each carrying our own struggles and pains. And while this doesn't excuse harmful behavior, it allows us to approach life with more kindness and patience. We stop letting others' hurt define us, and in doing so, we free ourselves from the emotional roller coaster that comes with taking things personally. You can walk through life with grace, knowing that their hurt belongs to them, and your peace belongs to you. In the fast-paced world we live in, it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of emotions when something upsetting happens. When someone says or does something that hurts us, our natural instinct is often to react immediately, whether it's with anger, defensiveness, or sadness. But there is immense power in choosing to pause and breathe before you respond. This simple act can completely transform how you experience and handle challenging situations. When we are hurt, our emotional reactions are often automatic. It's as if the mind goes into overdrive, replaying the event, amplifying the pain, and convincing us that we must do something right now to resolve it. Our heart races, our mind churns with thoughts, and our body tenses up. This is a reaction rooted in survival, designed to protect us. But in the modern world, where our emotional challenges are often more complex than immediate physical threats, this automatic reaction can do more harm than good. Pausing and taking a breath in those moments of emotional charge creates space. It allows you to step out of the intense energy of the moment and observe your thoughts and feelings without being consumed by them. In that pause, you're able to shift from reacting out of pure emotion to responding with intention and clarity. The breath is key. It connects you back to yourself, to your center. It grounds you in the present moment, calming the racing thoughts and helping you regain control over your emotional state. When you pause and breathe, you give yourself time to assess the situation. Instead of being swept away by the initial surge of emotion, you can ask yourself, what am I really feeling? Often there is more beneath the surface of our initial reaction. For example, when someone makes a hurtful comment, your immediate response might be anger. But if you take a moment to pause and breathe, you may realize that beneath that anger is hurt or disappointment. By acknowledging those deeper emotions, you're better equipped to respond in a way that aligns with your true feelings rather than just reacting impulsively. This pause also gives you the opportunity to decide how you want to respond. Do you want to react with anger and escalate the situation, or do you want to approach it with calmness and seek a resolution? Taking a breath allows you to choose the latter, where you can respond thoughtfully rather than from a place of reactivity. It gives you control over the narrative of the situation instead of letting the situation control you. Breathing is not just a physical action, it is also symbolic of creating mental and emotional space. In stressful or hurtful moments, our thoughts can become overwhelming, racing from one negative scenario to another. Our breath, however, reminds us that we can slow down, that we don't need to react immediately. It invites us to connect with the present moment, where our true power lies. In the present, we can observe our emotions without judgment and without the need to act on them right away. Moreover, when you breathe, you're activating your body's natural relaxation response. Deep, mindful breathing signals to your nervous system that it's okay to relax, to let go of the tension that builds up in moments of stress or hurt. This physiological shift helps to calm your body and mind, allowing you to think more clearly and make decisions from a place of inner peace rather than emotional chaos. The power of the pause is that it interrupts the automatic cycle of hurt and reaction. It breaks the pattern of immediately jumping into a defensive or angry mode and instead allows for reflection and choice. This doesn't mean that you ignore your emotions or suppress them. On the contrary, pausing and breathing gives you the chance to truly feel your emotions without being ruled by them. It's an act of self-care, a moment where you choose to prioritize your well-being over the urge to react. In relationships, whether personal or professional, this practice of pausing and breathing can be transformative. Instead of responding in a way that might cause further harm or misunderstanding, you're able to communicate more effectively. You can express your feelings without being overwhelmed by them, and you give the other person space to do the same. This opens the door to healthier, more constructive conversations where both parties can be heard and understood. In many ways, pausing and breathing is about reclaiming your power. It's about recognizing that no matter what happens around you, you are in control of how you respond. You don't have to be a victim to your emotions or to the actions of others. By taking a moment to breathe, you remind yourself that you have the ability to choose peace, to choose calm, and to choose how you want to engage with the world. This practice of pausing and breathing may seem small, but its impact is profound. It teaches you that you don't need to react to everything that happens to you. Instead, you can create space to reflect, to breathe, and to respond in a way that aligns with your highest self. In doing so, you cultivate inner peace and emotional resilience, allowing you to navigate life's challenges with grace and strength. In life, we often encounter situations that trigger strong emotional reactions. Someone may say something hurtful, do something inconsiderate, or act in a way that challenges our patience and peace of mind. In these moments, the impulse to react is powerful. It feels natural to defend ourselves, to lash out, or to correct the wrong. However, while reacting in the heat of the moment might provide a brief sense of satisfaction, it rarely leads to long-term peace. Instead, choosing peace over reaction is a practice that allows us to rise above immediate emotional responses and maintain control over our inner state. When we react impulsively to situations that upset us, we are essentially giving our power away. We allow external circumstances or other people's actions to dictate our emotions and behavior. This creates a cycle where our sense of peace becomes dependent on how others treat us, leaving us vulnerable to every slight or offense. The more we react, the more we reinforce the idea that we need to engage with negativity in order to feel validated or in control. But in truth, control comes not from reacting, but from the ability to pause, breathe, and choose peace. Choosing peace over reaction is not about suppressing your feelings or ignoring hurtful behavior. It's about recognizing that your peace is too valuable to be disrupted by fleeting moments of frustration or anger. By choosing peace, you're affirming that your inner well-being matters more than winning an argument or arguing a point. You're saying to yourself, I don't need to engage in negativity to feel strong or worthy. My peace is my strength. This approach requires mindfulness and self-awareness. The first step is to notice when you are being triggered. It's easy to get swept up in the heat of the moment, but if you can catch yourself before reacting, you can change the course of the interaction. When you feel the urge to react, take a deep breath. This simple act of breathing creates a pause, a space between the stimulus and your response. In that space, you have the power to choose how you want to proceed. Do you want to react impulsively, or do you want to maintain your peace? In choosing peace, you're not condoning bad behavior or allowing people to walk over you. Rather, you're deciding that their actions do not have to dictate your emotional state. You can address the situation calmly and assertively without letting it rob you of your tranquility. This doesn't mean you avoid confrontation or difficult conversations. It simply means you approach them from a place of inner calm rather than emotional reactivity. When we choose peace, we shift from a reactive mindset to a proactive one. Instead of being at the mercy of external events, we take charge of our emotional responses. We realize that we don't have to engage in every conflict or respond to every insult. Not every situation requires a reaction, and often the most powerful response is no response at all. Silence in many cases can speak louder than words. It communicates that you are grounded, centered, and not easily swayed by negativity. Another key element of choosing peace is understanding that other people's actions are often a reflection of their own inner turmoil. When someone lashes out or behaves in a hurtful way, it's often because they are struggling with their own issues, stress, insecurity, or emotional pain. Recognizing this allows you to have compassion, both for them and for yourself. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, you can respond with empathy. This doesn't mean you accept mistreatment, but it does help you detach emotionally from the situation and see it for what it truly is. So choosing peace also involves letting go of the need to be right. In many conflicts, the desire to be right can escalate tensions and prolong arguments. But when you prioritize peace over being right, you create space for resolution and healing. You can still stand up for yourself, express your feelings and set boundaries, but you do so with the intention of preserving your peace rather than proving your point. This mindset shift can transform relationships as it encourages mutual understanding and reduces the likelihood of prolonged conflict. Ultimately, choosing peace over reaction is a practice that requires patience and dedication. It's not always easy, especially when emotions are running high. But the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Over time, you'll find that situations that used to upset you no longer have the same hold over you. You'll become more resilient, more grounded, and more capable of navigating life's challenges with grace and calm. By choosing peace, you reclaim your power. You remind yourself that your inner state is within your control, no matter what happens around you. In doing so, you cultivate a deeper sense of self-respect and emotional stability. You no longer allow the actions of others to dictate your happiness or peace of mind. Instead, you stand firmly in your own truth, knowing that true strength comes not from reacting, but from choosing peace. Self-love is a concept that often gets misunderstood. It is not about being self-centered or thinking only of oneself. It is about recognizing your worth, taking care of your mental, emotional, and physical well-being, and honoring your own needs and desires. At the core of self-love lies reflection, the ability to look within, examine your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, and cultivate a deeper understanding of yourself. Together, self-love and reflection create a powerful foundation for living a life that feels authentic, fulfilling, and true to who you are. Loving yourself is a journey, and like any journey, it requires time, patience, and intention. It starts with acknowledging that you are worthy of love, not just from others, but from yourself. Many of us have been conditioned to believe that our worth depends on external validation, how others see us, how successful we are, or how well we meet societal expectations. But self-love teaches us that our worth is inherent. It's not something that can be measured by achievements or other people's opinions. It's an unshakable truth that we must come to accept and nurture within ourselves. Reflection plays a critical role in the process of self-love. Through reflection, you can examine your beliefs, habits, and patterns of thought that may be standing in the way of fully embracing yourself. Are there negative self-beliefs that you hold on to? Do you often criticize or judge yourself harshly? Reflecting on these questions allows you to become aware of the internal dialogue that shapes your self-perception. Awareness is the first step toward change. When you recognize the negative thoughts or behaviors that are holding you back, you can begin to shift them toward more loving and compassionate ways of thinking. Reflection also helps you to uncover the areas of your life where you may have neglected yourself. Self-love is not just about affirming your worth, but also about taking care of yourself in practical ways. Do you set boundaries with people who drain your energy? Do you make time for rest and relaxation? Do you honor your emotional needs and allow yourself to feel your emotions without judgment? These are all important aspects of self-love, and reflecting on your daily habits can help you identify where you may need to make adjustments. In the fast pace of everyday life, it's easy to get caught up in the external demands and forget to check in with yourself. But self-reflection invites you to slow down and listen to your inner voice. It asks you to take a step back from the hustle and busyness, to breathe and to connect with what's going on inside. It's about creating space for yourself, space to feel, to think, to process, and to simply be. This is where true self-love flourishes, in those quiet moments of introspection where you can reconnect with who you really are beneath the roles, expectations, and pressures of life. One of the greatest gifts of self-love, love, and reflection is that it helps you develop a deeper sense of compassion for yourself. We are often our own harshest critics, constantly measuring ourselves against unrealistic standards or beating ourselves up for perceived failures. But self-love encourages you to let go of this need for perfection. It reminds you that you are human, and being human means that you will make mistakes, face challenges, and have moments of doubt. Reflection allows you to see these moments not as reasons to criticize yourself, but as opportunities for growth. You can learn from your experiences and continue to evolve without diminishing your sense of worth. Another important aspect of self-love is forgiveness, both of yourself and others. Reflection allows you to identify the areas where you may be holding onto resentment, anger, or guilt, whether it's directed at yourself or someone else. Holding on to these emotions can weigh you down and prevent you from fully loving yourself. By reflecting on your past hurts and offering forgiveness, you release the emotional burdens that no longer serve you. Forgiveness is an act of love, and when you choose to forgive, you are choosing to free yourself from the pain that keeps you stuck. Practicing self-love through reflection also empowers you to make choices that align with your true desires and values. When you take the time to reflect on what you truly want and need in life, you become more intentional about the decisions you make. You begin to prioritize your own happiness and well-being, rather than constantly trying to meet the expectations of others. This doesn't mean that you stop caring for others or become selfish. It means that you honor your own needs as much as you honor those of the people around you. Ultimately, self-love and reflection are about building a deep, nurturing relationship with yourself. It's about showing yourself the same kindness, patience, and understanding that you would offer to a dear friend. As you practice self-love, you create a life that feels more aligned with who you truly are, a life where you feel empowered to grow, heal, and thrive. Through reflection, you gain clarity and insight into your inner world, allowing you to continue evolving and becoming the best version of yourself. This journey of self-love and reflection is one that enriches every aspect of your life, helping you to live with more joy, peace, and authenticity. In a world filled with chaos, conflict, and emotional turbulence, the ability to set an example of grace is one of the most powerful and transformative acts you can embody. Grace is not about being perfect or always having the right answer. It's about how you carry yourself, especially in difficult situations. It's about maintaining a calm, composed, and compassionate attitude, even when circumstances test your patience or emotions. When you choose to respond with grace, you not only elevate your own experience, but also inspire others to rise above their own challenges and approach life with more dignity and understanding. Grace begins with self-awareness. It involves knowing who you are, what you stand for, and how you want to show up in the world. When you have a deep understanding of yourself, you're better equipped to handle external situations with composure and balance. Graceful people are not immune to challenges, but they've developed the ability to respond. Rather than react, they pause before acting, ensuring that their responses come from a place of calm, rather than emotional reactivity. This type of self-awareness allows you to set an example, not by preaching or instructing, but by simply living in alignment with your values. One of the most profound ways to demonstrate grace is by showing kindness in the face of negativity. It's easy to be kind when everything is going well, but true grace shines in challenging moments. And when someone is rude or unkind, a graceful person doesn't respond in kind. Instead, they choose to stay grounded in their own sense of compassion and understanding. They recognize that other people's behavior often has more to do with their own struggles than it does with the present interaction. By refusing to engage in negativity, you not only protect your own peace, but also show others that there is a higher, more peaceful way to navigate conflict. Grace also involves the ability to forgive not just others, but also yourself. Everyone makes mistakes. Life is filled with moments where we fall short of our own expectations or unintentionally hurt others. When you approach these situations with grace, you let go of the need for perfection and instead embrace the learning process that comes with being human. Graceful people understand that holding on to resentment or guilt only prolongs suffering. They choose forgiveness as a way to free themselves and others from the weight of past mistakes. This act of letting go not only heals your own heart, but also demonstrates to others that forgiveness is a powerful tool for growth and peace. Another key aspect of grace is humility. Graceful people are not driven by ego or the need to be right. Instead, they value understanding and connection over winning an argument or proving a point. They listen more than they speak, seeking to truly understand the perspectives of others. This humility allows them to navigate difficult conversations or disagreements with respect and openness. By showing humility, you create an environment where people feel heard and valued even if they don't agree with you. This ability to hold space for different viewpoints is a hallmark of grace and fosters greater harmony in relationships. Being graceful also means taking responsibility for your actions. When you make a mistake, a graceful person doesn't blame others or make excuses. Instead, they own up to their actions, apologize if necessary, and take steps to make things right. This level of accountability is rare in a world where people often deflect blame or refuse to admit wrongdoing. By taking responsibility, you set an example for others, showing them that it's possible to handle mistakes with maturity and integrity. In times of stress or pressure, grace is the quality that keeps you grounded. When things don't go as planned, when you face setbacks or disappointments, grace helps you maintain perspective. You understand that challenges are a natural part of life, and instead of resisting them or becoming overwhelmed, you move through them with patience and resilience. This doesn't mean you deny your feelings or pretend that everything is fine. Rather, you allow yourself to experience your emotions, but you don't let them dictate your behavior. You respond thoughtfully, choosing actions that align with your values rather than being driven by the temporary intensity of the moment. Lastly, grace is about gratitude. A graceful person understands that life is a gift even in its challenges. They cultivate a mindset of gratitude for the lessons learned in difficult times and the beauty found in everyday moments. This gratitude radiates outward, affecting how they interact with the world around them. When you approach life with gratitude, you inspire others to do the same. You show them that even in adversity, there is something to be thankful for, and that this attitude of appreciation can transform how you experience life's ups and downs. Setting an example of grace is not about being flawless or never facing difficulties. It's about how you choose to respond to life's challenges with kindness, humility, forgiveness, accountability, and gratitude. When you embody these qualities, you create a ripple effect, inspiring others to embrace grace in their own lives. You show them that it's possible to navigate even the toughest situations with dignity and peace. And in doing so, you contribute to a more compassionate and harmonious world.